Anyways, next step is this moving this transmit or engine crossmember forward. Now the spacing on the top brackets is 3 1/4. Spacing on the bottom brackets, I believe, was 4 1/2. Doing some measuring, if I move the crossmember forward 3 1/4, the rear hole becomes the front hole, and then I drill a new hole here, and this isn't a problem. Drilling a new hole on the inside of the bottom of the frame, you can see where the original two holes were. They move forward 3 1/4. There's no interference there, so it shouldn't be a problem. Same is true for the bottom bottom part of the crossmember on this side as well. Moves forward 3 1/2. It's not going to be or 3 1/4. It's not going to be a problem. Move forward 3 1/4. Once again, this hole now becomes this hole, so it's not a problem. But this hole is awfully close to where I'm going to want to put my next hole. As a matter of fact, it's going to be right adjacent to it. Matter of fact, they'll probably overlap a bit because these are 3 1/2 or 3/8 inch holes, and this hole is at 3 1/2. So where I want to drill is at 3 1/4. So they actually will be very close to overlapping. So what I'm going to do is, well, because of the dinging up that happened today, I'm going to be hitting this with another coat of primer anyways to clean up all the scratches and that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, I'm going to actually open it up slightly with a drill just to clean out the paint, sand it top and bottom, and then I'm going to weld up that hole. Then I'll drill the new one. Now another issue that I didn't think about was the frame actually does slightly narrow at the front. You can actually see it here. It slightly narrows at the front. And where the engine crossmember, if I move it forward 3 1/4 inches forward, it actually comes from a point where it was about 28 1/2 wide to a spot where it's about 28 inches wide on the inside measurement. So I'm going to have to narrow up this crossmember a little bit here. Okay, so I'm measuring some things, and I already mentioned that the frame necks down a bit towards the front, and I realize now that that kind of throws off a lot of the measurements. So moving things 3 1/4 inches so that this hole would be coincident with where this hole, would be, the exact difference there, so that one bolt would move there, doesn't work, because that actually, when the frame necks down, it obviously means that this bolt has to move outwards. So I'm not going to be able to reuse any of the bolt holes, which kind of is a pain in the butt. I actually probably made more work for myself by saying I wanted to move it forward 3 1/4. So I might rethink this a bit and see if there's some intermediate value somewhere between 3 and 3 1/2 inches that works so that I don't have to fill in a bunch of bolt holes with weld. And it's not that big a deal. You know what I'm going to do? Bugger it. I'm going to fill in this hole with weld. I'm going to fill in this hole with weld, this hole with weld, and go that route. Stick with 3 1/4 because it sounds like a good eyeball number. 3 inches was originally what I was thinking. 3 1/4 sounds just as good. And I'll drill everything based off of the lower engine crossmember. So I'll set it in place, find out where I want to locate the bolt holes for it, bolt it in place permanently, and then I will locate the upper holes based upon how these motor towers stand relative to the crossmember, and that way everything will all be logical and properly related. Okay, so I decided I'm going to re-drill the holes for the top motor towers, top part of the motor towers. As well, there was a hole in the frame that was a little too close for comfort for where I wanted to drill the new hole in this spot of the frame as well. So I filled it with the welder. Just a quick tip, I'm sure everybody knows this one, but if you want to fill a hole nicely, I just took a piece of copper pipe, flattened it out, and what I did was I clamped it with these on either side of the hole, so it was fitting tight against the back of the hole here. And then you just take your MIG welder, and this works best with the MIG welder. I don't think it would work very well with a TIG. Is that you start in the center of the hole and you just start filling the backside against the copper there. At least that's what I did that worked the best. The steel won't stick to the copper, nor is it hot enough to melt the copper. You just basically work your way around and fill it in. Working your way around the edges. It's best to work your way around the edge and then fill in the center. Build it up a bit and take it down. Now I didn't get it perfect here. I can still see some of the edges of the hole here, but I'm not too worried about it. I think it's adequate. Same is true for this one here as well. So anyways, I'm going to bolt these back in place and drill the new holes, and then I'm going to drop the engine back in, and that'll be its new position. I will be pulling everything back out again because I have to repaint all this stuff because I've ground off paint here, smashed things up, and all that. Okay, engine's back in the frame. Not quite all the way forward. I think it's about 3/4 of an inch too far back because I can't even feel the holes for the motor mounts through the motor towers. Already I can see that the clearance between the fan and this front cross member is pretty low. It's like about 1/4 inch or so. It'll improve a bit because the engine isn't sitting quite square, but not hugely. You can see that on that side it's actually almost 1/2 inch, but on this side it's quite small. So anyways, I'm going to drop the cab back on and see how the clearances are. And I think that'll be it for today. Okay, I'll show you the results of that in a minute. Okay, so that looks like a truck. Put the front fender on so that I might have a bit of a, I don't know, enthusiasm booster. What would you do? Morale booster. There's what I was looking for. I was tempted to put the other fender on, but I figured, nah, I don't really need to. I would like to put the hood on, then it really looked like it was together. One minor problem, seems to be a bit of a door gap to fender problem, but I figure it's either that I got my rubber bumpers on the core support twisted around, or there's a spacer at the front of the cab support that's supposed to be there, but I don't have it there. It's entirely possible. There was a whole bunch of washers and things in there. Anyways, engine fit. Well, I think I already covered that, but looks good. It's going to be close to where the fan is, but it's not going to be unreasonably close. Still not sure what I'll do about a shroud, but I can always fabricate one. Clearances. Actually, I don't think I did cover clearances. Excellent clearance now at the firewall. No massaging needed on the firewall. I don't think you would ever be able to use the clutch. This is definitely the clutch opening. I don't think you'd ever be able to use a manual with one of these. There's just no way that the rod and all that would clear. But good clearance on this side as well. It'll even get a little bit better because, like I said, the motor mount is actually, or the motor is actually sitting about 3/4 of an inch further back than it's supposed to. I guess what's next is I'll sort out why this fender isn't sitting right, just in case it's something important. Little things always seem to mushroom a bit. And then I think I will probably pull the engine one more time, pull the cab off, and repaint the cross members, touch up the bits on the frame that got banged up, and I'll pull the transmission cross member out of here and paint it as well. I'll clean it up and paint it as well. And apart from that, I think I'm nearly done for the day. Actually, you know what? I do have to redo the holes on the transmission cross member, and I should really get the new transmission vibration isolator, whatever you want to call it, transmission mount. Okay, there we go. I've had more than enough for today.